Good evening, everyone. Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed your weekend. Sorry we didn't get to have the bedtime stories for the weekend, but here it is, a fresh Monday, fresh new chapter of Down in the Dirty. I'm your host, as usual, author J.M. Benjamin, www.anewqualitypublishing.com. So, because I made you guys wait so long over the weekend, let's begin. Without further ado, Chapter 19. Vanessa had just gotten out of the shower. It had been a long trip, and all she wanted to do was rest. The train ride down had worn her out. Stacks had settled her in and told her to make herself comfortable and rest up, because they were going to hang out later on that evening. He promised to return after he took care of a few things. Vanessa wrapped the towel around her body and went into the room that would be hers for as long as she liked, according to Stacks. It definitely feels good to be out of the hood, she thought, smiling. The bedroom was a spare that Stacks and his boys had hooked up. Vanessa would be the first to ever use the room. Everything in it was neatly situated. It was a nice, plain, comfortable room containing the basic necessities. Vanessa went over to the stereo and turned on the music. After finding a station that played R&B, she went to the bed and popped open one of her suitcases. She began pulling out her panties, bras, cosmetics, and laying them on the bed. She picked out the outfit she intended to wear for the night out on the town, and she found a drawer to put the rest of her things in. She then opened another suitcase to pull out what she put on the following day. She then opened her other suitcase to pull out what she intended to wear the following day. Just then, Vanessa heard one of her favorite songs by Jodeci on the radio. "Oh, it's my cut right here," she said, snapping her fingers to the beat. She went and turned the music up and took her towel off as she began grooming while she danced. Stacks had a habit of rushing out, forgetting something he really needed, and he wouldn't realize it until he reached his destination or was almost there. He had just driven for 20 minutes and had to turn back around because he had forgotten to snatch up the digital scale. Stacks pulled in the yard and saw that Vanessa's bedroom light was still on. He thought she would have been asleep. When he got out the car, he could hear the music blaring from the inside of the house. He smiled because he normally fell asleep with the music blasting himself. When Stacks walked into the house, he went straight to the kitchen and saw the scale on the table right where he had left it. He snatched it up and opened the fridge and got a Corona before leaving. He almost forgot to turn off Vanessa's light, but her slightly cracked door jarred his memory. He cracked the beer open, took a sip, then went to Vanessa's bedroom. As Stacks pushed open the door, he stopped dead in his tracks in disbelief. There was Vanessa, in the nude, with her eyes closed, singing and dancing along to the music. Stacks knew she could dance because they had been up in the same clubs back home many a times. He used to enjoy watching the way she did her thing on the dance floor, especially when she dogged some dude who tried to get up on her and couldn't hang. But to be standing there able to see the way her body moved in the nude had him mesmerized. Vanessa's body was flawless, he thought. He had always wondered what she had looked like under the jeans and sweatshirt she wore. She was immaculate, he thought. Her chocolate skin looked as smooth as silk, and her frame resembled a beautifully carved sculpture. Everything was indeed in order, he thought, and seeing the way her body moved as she danced while applying the lotion to her nakedness only heightened how sexy she appeared. Stacks just stood there, continuing to watch Vanessa as he sipped on his Corona. He couldn't move. It was as if he were frozen. Even if he wanted to, he couldn't, he thought. Vanessa finished lotioning as the song was coming to an end. She reached for her deodorant on the bed, and when she opened her eyes, she noticed something in her peripheral vision. "Oh, shit, Stacks, what are you doing?" she asked, startled, trying to cover herself up with her hands. Stacks was so absorbed in watching Vanessa's peep show that her statement didn't register until the song went off and he had heard the commercial. Huh? He answered. Vanessa laughed at having caught him off guard. Boy, you heard me. What were you doing? Oh, nah. I forgot something. I had to come all the way back, he said, trying to stay focused. Vanessa continued to stand there naked while she spoke. She had placed her hands on her hips. Stax thought she looked even better standing still as he ran his eyes up and down every inch of her body, admiring her beauty. Well, I know it ain't in here, and it sure ain't down there where you looking, nasty, Vanessa smirked, because Stax's eyes were glued to the lower part of her frame. What? Oh, you real funny. Nobody looking at you. Anyway, put some clothes on, he said, trying to keep a straight face. I will if you get out of my room, nigga. Yeah, I'm out anyway. I'll be back later. Like I told you, Stax said. Bye, Vanessa replied, fanning her hand at him. Next time, shut this door. I could have been anybody coming up in here catching you like this, he said, closing it behind him. After Stax left, Vanessa sat on the bed, put her hands beneath her head, and fell back. She knew this trip was going to be a long one she'd never forget, she thought. As Stax drove away, visions of Vanessa clouded his mind. He couldn't get over the fact that he was feeling her the way he was. He knew that it wasn't best for him to just cool out and breathe easy because he didn't know how Vanessa felt about him. If he tried to make a move on her and she rejected him, he could mess up their whole friendship, and that's the last thing he wanted to do, he thought. He decided to be on his best behavior while she was in town, show her a good time, and help her get some money. He knew it wasn't going to be easy with the way he was feeling. Aside from Vanessa, he had another chick on his mind that he was feeling as well. He didn't know how he had gotten himself into the sticky situation, and definitely didn't know how to get himself out of it either. Chapter 20. I thought you wanted to hook up tomorrow, but I'm glad you called me tonight, Keisha said to Styles. Yeah, I was thinking about you. I ain't had nothing to do, so I figured I'd call you and see if I could come scoop you so we could cool out or something, Styles said. Well, you here. Now what you want to do? She asked. Whatever, it don't matter. It's up to you. That's all Keisha needed to hear to take control of the situation. She knew that once she told Styles where she wanted to go, he'd have no problem taking her there. He probably would be feeling himself for how easy he thought it was to get her there in the first place. Let's just go get a room and cool out, she said. Styles couldn't believe it. He had hoped the night would end up that way, but he never thought it would be the first and only destination. He already had his mind set on whining and dining Keisha with the hopes she would give him some. He didn't have to worry about the whining and dining part anymore, he thought. He was ready to go straight to dessert. When Keisha stepped out of her crib to get in the car, his joint started throbbing just from her looks. Damn, she a bad piece, he thought. With her golden complexion, mouthful-sized breasts, high butt with hips to match, and long legs, what more could a man ask for in a woman, Styles thought. Yeah, it would be a good day for him, and he had every intentions of enjoying every moment of it. Yeah, we can do that. I'm with that, Styles told her as he popped in Tupac's All Eyes on Me CD. He pushed play and pulled off. As soon as they got into the room, Keisha sent Styles on a mission. Why you need these ice cubes? You gonna put them in your Henny or something? Styles asked with disapproval. All that on the rock shit is for the bougie motherfuckers that can't handle it. You gotta drink this shit straight up with no chaser. Who said the ice was for the drink? I ain't putting no ice in my Henny. I'm putting the ice on you, Keisha said. She grabbed a cube from the bucket, put it in her mouth, and crushed it up. Styles' eyes lit up as he smiled with excitement. Each time he heard Keisha's chewing the ice, his joint got harder and harder. He had heard about females going down on dudes with ice, but he never had it done to him before. Yeah, I like the sound of that, he said. Keisha knew that Styles would be open once he found out her intentions. She had mastered the technique of giving head with ice cubes in her mouth. That night she planned to do to Styles what she had done to several men in the past. And just like all of them, he was going to both enjoy and love it. After that night, she knew she'd have Styles chasing her the same way all the other men before him had. Keisha never had any complaints with the way she freaked niggas. Just on the strength of her head game alone, she had been lavish with all types of gifts, monies, and trips. Some dudes had even proposed to her, but it always ended the same way. Bitches get paid and niggas get played. And soon, Styles and his little team would be added to the list, Keisha thought. Later on, Styles fell asleep, drained from the sexing Keisha had put on him. She had sucked and sexed him until he was out of gas. To her, Styles had lasted longer than the others she thought was surprised. She thought he'd never come. She'd given him head so long that her jaws locked up and began to cramp, but she got the job done at the end. Keisha was quite pleased with her performance as she sat there puffing on an L. Yeah, nigga, rest up. Your ass gonna need it, she whispered to herself. Keisha's goal was to whip it on Styles so good that he'd feel comfortable telling her anything she wanted to know, so she could figure out the best way to execute her plans. When he awoke, she planned to give him a repeat performance just as soon as her mouth had loosened up. No dudes could resist double portions of her sex, even if they couldn't hang. Thanks to her father, she knew at a young age she had something special between her legs that would drive men crazy. And this dude Styles was no different than any other man. Chapter 21. Yo, Stack. Yo, you the only nigga I fucks with, dawg. You still be taxing me, too. In a week, I done copped at least 4 keys from you, my nigga. And nothing under 10 onions a pop. You can't do me better than that? A G an ounce, my nigga? Jalon, one of Stack's regular buyers, asked. Son, no, I ain't even like that, B. Nigga, I be showing you mad love. You just don't be appreciating that shit. You one of the few motherfuckers I be fronting shit to and don't be sweating how long it takes you to pay me. Now, if you want to fuck with them niggas that got that bullshit ounces for 800 and all of that from Florida, then do your thing, playboy. I ain't going to be mad at you. But if you do that, then if you decide to come back and cop from me ever again, you're going to have to pay that $1,200 to owe, my dude. Like I be charging these other inconsistent ass niggas. Nah, nigga. You know I'm just bullshitting with you. You my motherfucking dog, baby boy. I ain't trying to fuck with nobody but you. I know you be showing love. Don't think I don't be appreciating that, Jalon said. I know you do, kid. And I know you're a loyal dude, too. Matter of fact, I'm going to make a deal with you, Stack said as the thought popped into his head. I got a half a brick that I need moved. I'll front you the whole half, and instead of giving me $1,500 off of every onion for fronting it to you, just give me 13. Only thing I want you to do is hit me with half a week from when I give them to you. And the other half the following week after that, unless you move it all before. But I need that paper no later than 2 weeks. You think you can handle that? Man, that's love, dog. That's a bet. I got you covered. You got it with you now? Nah, but I'm going to come check you tomorrow and we'll set it up, all right? Yeah, that's cool. Good looking, my nigga, Jalon said. Don't worry about it, just make sure you come through for me on that. I told you, dog, I got you covered. Yo, ain't that your boys ride there? Jalon asked, pointing to the latest rental that Don drove. Yeah, that's him. Yo, listen, I'll catch you tomorrow, so be on point. I'll call you before I come through. 1. All right, my nigga, peace out. Stack started towards Don's rental, and he got out of the car when Stack saw him. What's good, B? Don asked. Everything. What up with you? Business as usual, you already know. How you know I was out here? Stacks asked him. I was just at the house and Vanessa told me you said you were going to take care of something. I remember you said Jalon got at you yesterday about reading up. I figured this where'd you be. Yo, Vanessa looking good as hell, son, Don said. Stacks didn't respond and switched the subject. Yo, where Styles at? The house? Nah, he called me not too long ago and told me he was at the telly with that chick Keisha he met at the club. Desiree home, girl? Stacks asked. Yeah, that's the one. He called me from the hallway and told me how he hooked up with Shorty and was ready to take her out and shit. But when he asked what she wanted to do, Shorty told him, let's just go get a room and cool out. He said he thinks Shorty a freak on the low. They probably all some freaks, feel me? You know I knocked off that chick Pam that be with them, right? What? Yeah, son. Me and Shorty got busy all night, sexing, puffing, and sipping, Dawn said. Now Stacks was curious. He wanted to know if Desiree was like her girlfriends and whether she was just looking for a nigga to sleep with. He was usually a good judge of character, and nothing about her gave him that impression. He didn't take her as the type of female who slept around. Still, he couldn't be sure, since the old saying, birds of a feather flock together, usually rang true. But he was living proof it wasn't necessarily true, since he wasn't anything like Don or his brother. He was nothing like either of them. In fact, he and Styles were the complete opposites, he thought. Yo, what up with you and that chick Desiree? You ain't hit that yet? Don asked him. Nah, we parlayed a few times, but I ain't trying to set nothing up. I knew Vanessa was coming down. I ain't want to get caught up with fucking with old girl and not be able to show Vanessa a good time, know what I mean? Don gave Stacks the same look he and Styles had shared when Stacks first mentioned Vanessa coming through. Yo, what's the deal with you and V, man? He asked. I mean, she looking all good and shit, and I know she ain't just leaving the city because she heard so many good things about the dirty. What's really going on? What's really hood? Talk to me, player. Like I told you before, ain't nothing. She wanted to get away from the yitty, and I told her she could come chill with us, that's it. Then I told her since she coming down, she might as well bring some work and get some of this southern bread, you feel me? That's it, no more, no less. Stacks said, yeah, alright, that's what your mouth say. I bet your Jimmy saying something else though, nigga. Don smiled. Shut the fuck up. What you need? Why you looking for me anyway? Oh, I almost forgot. Yo, them cats out in Goldsboro got at me. They wanted a whole joint, so I dipped out there. And motherfucking niggas talking about they want raw, not rock. I want to smack the shit out of one of them cats because they could have told me they was switching up. They normally be getting rock. And I charged them 35 grand for a brick. Since they wanted powder though, I told them our bricks of powder go for 38. So why you ain't just go get a brick of raw and sell it to them? Why you need me? Why you think, nigga? Because you the only one that can stretch that shit. I ain't trying to get them niggas no whole brick of raw like that, Don said. It made sense, but Stacks wasn't in the mood to put in the work required. He had too much other stuff on his mind, but he knew there was no way Don would let him get out of doing it. He made a note to remind himself to teach Styles and Don how to stretch their coke. Alright, I'll meet you back at the crib. I gotta stop off at the store and get some comeback, some other things, Stacks said. Alright, we'll link up at the crib then. And I'll have all the stuff out for you by the time you get there so you can handle your business. Then I'm gonna go make that delivery and collect that dough from them dudes. They both hopped in their rentals with the intentions of meeting up at the house. Well, that's coming to the end of chapter 21. I will resume reading tomorrow, same time, same bat channel, so stay tuned. www.anewqualitypublishing.com. If you haven't already, order that Ride or Die Chick series. You need that Ride or Die Chick 3 in your life. Also, you can order all of our books on Kindle and Nook or Amazon.com. But as I always close out with, please support your African American bookstores. Thank you and good night.